Okay, so right now we're going to do a 3x3 tutorial, and first we have to learn a little bit of the notation. So when you're doing Rubik's Cubes, they don't have a set notation, but it's specific to whatever circumstance you have. For example, the front face here is the face that's looking at you directly, but it is not always this face. For example, if you turn the cube this way, this face here now becomes the front face. Other faces include the up face, that's this face up here, the left face, which is this face over here, the right face, which is this face over here, and the bottom face, or the down face, which is this face over here. Now, what's important to know about these different faces is that when you say a move, such as front or up, it means that the move is in a clockwise direction. For example, if you say up, it would just be like this. But if you say up prime or U prime, that would mean that you're turning the face counterclockwise. So now when you're talking about a move, it would mean that you're looking at the face directly. For example, if we were to say turn the left face, we would go like this. So because if we were looking at the face, if we turn it this way, that would be in the clockwise direction, so that would be correct. If we were saying L prime or left prime, that would mean go in the counterclockwise direction. And similarly so, such that the right face, if we were saying turn the right face, it would go like this to be in the clockwise direction. Or if we were saying R prime, it would go the opposite direction. Now, one important thing to note is that the left and the right primes go in the opposite direction. So an R prime would go like this, whereas an L prime would go like this. So the first thing to do in solving your Rubik's Cube is obviously to scramble it up. So I'm just going to scramble it a little bit here. So we have it scrambled up now pretty good. So the next important thing to know about any Rubik's Cube is that this center piece here on every single face denotes the color for that face. So no matter what happens, this face here is always going to be green, this face here is always going to be orange, this face here is always going to be blue, and so on. And these centers here have fixed positions where green is always opposite blue, white is always opposite yellow, orange is always opposite red. So now, whenever we're solving the cube, the first thing we need to do is to make the green cross. Now note that you have this green cross here, it looks like a plus sign, and that not only do these four pieces have green on them, but they also coincide correctly with this face as well. For example, this piece here is green and red. That means that it has to go between the green and red faces. So these two match up here. For example, if you had it like this, yes, you may have the green cross notation here, or look up here, but they do not necessarily match up with these center colors here, so that would make it incorrect. So this is the most important step in solving the Rubik's Cube. You have to match these up here, these centers. So now I'm going to show you how to do this. So from your scrambled cube, you have to start looking for the sides. So look around the side here for pieces that have green in them. So we can look, oh, and we find one here. So this piece here is green and white. That means it has to go between the green and white edge piece here. So we match it up and we put it up here. See, now we have our piece under the position of which we want to put it. So we have it here, and then we have to turn it up so it's in this face. We'll either have one or two positions of which this piece can be in. It could either be correctly oriented like this, or you could have something like this, where you flipped the piece into the correct spot. It's between the green and white faces, however it's flipped the opposite way and it's flipped incorrectly. So to fix this, we have to do an algorithm. And an algorithm is basically a pattern or sequence of moves that can take us back to an original position or change the pieces such that they act favorably for us. So in order to flip these two colors here, we have to go and do this following move. It's F prime, U, L prime, U prime. So that switches these two colors around. So next, you have to keep looking around the cube for other green edge pieces. We see that this piece here is green and orange. So we can just turn it up like this, and we put it up here. So now this green piece, this green center here, correctly has this green white edge and this green orange edge all matched together. So now this piece here is green and red. So we're going to move this between the green and red faces. So here's our green face up here, and then here's our red face down here. So we turn the cube like this. So now when we go to move it up into the location, we see that it's flipped the opposite way again, so we have to do that algorithm which I just taught you before. So we go F prime, U, L prime, U prime to get it back into the notation like this. So now we have the green and orange piece correctly in there, we have the white and green piece correctly in here, and we have the green and red piece correctly in here. So now we need this green and yellow side piece. So you go and look around the cube, and then we find it over here. So we bring it under where we want to put it, we bring it back up, and now we put it into the spot where we want it to go. We see it's flipped again here, so we have to do that same move to get it up here. So now this is the end of the first part in solving the Rubik's Cube. We have this green cross or green plus sign here, and all these edges are correctly positioned where they all are correctly in between the sides.